All right, so here, Jury, I'll give you this one back.
This is a nice shirt.
Or maybe I should.
Justin bought it for me.
Oh yeah, that Hack 5 setup is pretty sweet.
What setup?
The Hack 5 warehouse.
Oh.
Yeah.
You need to book some JuRYMania shows in there and get your own shit going.
I've talked to him about it.
It'd
Like
be a
wrestling?
perfect place to set up a fucking indie show.
Yeah, I looked at that place. It's like,
merchandise on the shelves.
yeah, I mean, but like they like the way they did it there with the covering.
Yeah, but still, that's not gonna wrestling crowds. I mean, I guess if you're just doing like a
No,
stream
people
thing,
deal
like
with a lot of things that are an indie wrestling show when it comes to like venues. It's not uncommon. All right. All right, we have our guests. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get ourselves situated, and we'll start the Fanny Pack Wrestling podcast.
Yeah.
Season finale. This is the finale of season 4.
What you looking for?
So,
like,
all right. See you, D. Really?
Oh shit! I might have dumped it out, man.
it was empty. I was just gonna talk
Which
about
is it? Yeah, it's somewhere here.
Put away the salsa right here.
Oh, there it is. Found it.
I was gonna say, yeah, we cleared out the stuff.
All right.
Yeah, I gotta get water too.
It's gonna be interesting as you. All right, the working title I already have for this episode is "See Almost All the Wrestling," because that pretty much defined our experience this weekend.
I mean, I feel like I would have liked to have not worked as much as I did. But all that being said,
It was a fun weekend.
I
It
would
was a
not have.
blast.
And especially considering
Yeah, that's animal.
how Mania ended,
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
it's going to be
I was like,
a
And-
fucking amazing Raw.
yeah, and we're definitely going to talk about NXT as part of this, even though it's not an indie, but we definitely need to include it as part of our journey. Yeah, because it is such a part. Because we talked about NXT on the show before.
I mean,
so.
that is a really interesting question, though. Like, what is NXT right now? Like, is it?
It is a
is
secondary brand. It is a strong secondary brand.
Is it without? This is actually a good question we can ask on the podcast.
Yeah. All right. So we'll bring up ideas on the podcast. All right.
Lance Storm tweeting.
Yeah. Nice.
4 out of 10.
If
Uh,
9 people showed up to WrestleMania, the attendance would have been a palindrome.
Nice.
76976. Thank
Yeah.
you, Lance Storm.
Thank you. Such a Lance Storm thing to
The
do.
autistic kid in
Thank
the back
you.
of math class.
Thank you for
I
Emma.
think you gotta
that would be
squeeze in
9-7.
more.
That would be a pound.
97653. 976
number?
867. 954.
76976. It's not a palindrome.
No, you would have to have another 9.
769.
No.
76967
Yeah.
would be the palindrome.
Mitzula might be.
I don't know what
Oh,
he's talking
and
about.
Lance
I don't know what you're reading.
Yay, math.
All right, let's.
Did Mitzula prove Lance Storm wrong? Is that it? Is that the thing?
Well, because the palindrome would have to be the same
format.
either
It's
way.
like racing.
Yeah.
And so this, if it was backwards, it would be 67-967 and not 76-976.
Mitzula.
That's an odd.
9,
Mitzula,
67.
Lance Storm, WrestleMania, Dallas.
Oh no, wait,
Star.
hold on. He's
Book it.
saying if
Oh, he
All
would
right.
have 9 more would have been to that number.
yeah,
We didn't add the number into the number. Okay.
Still book it
All
anyways.
right.
I mean,
fucking
Um,
Canadians.
I'll pay. I'll pay
Is
for
that
that.
exchange rate?
Are we all in the shot? I don't think.
No,
I don't think.
I think you're out of the shot.
Nice. Ooh.
Which
nice
is-
breeze in this spot.
do I got to scoot in or am I good?
You can squeeze in a little more, and I'm gonna squeeze in a little bit more, and then. All
I'll
right.
just do this.
Get intimate.
My head's just on Rick's lap the entire time. This is
This
Oh,
was
Sure.
perfectly normal, right?
Side
Perfect thing.
slam.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, actually, you can just do this. You guys can talk about everything up until Friday. Then you guys
Yes.
can start talking Saturday.
And then-
We'll bring you in.
I didn't want to land.
Rollins style. You gotta,
And then,
you gotta do
like-
it Rollins style.
Like. Yeah. All right. All right. Everybody ready to get rolling?
Let's go.
My mic is on. Let's do it.
All right. It begins in 3, 2, 1. Buenos nachos, amigos, and welcome to the season finale of the Fanny Pack Wrestling podcast. A little bit of a different setup today and a little bit of a different crew. We don't have... I'm Petey Rave, of course, your man with no plan. I'm not joined, unfortunately, by my buddy DJM, who is resting because it is late. Like, it is damn near midnight in the East Coast.
Yeah.
So he's going to go ahead and sit this one out, but don't worry. He'll be back. We'll have him in our thoughts. We missed DJM this entire weekend, didn't we?
This weekend was amazing on so many different levels, and yet there was a gaping DJM-sized hole in it because as awesome as everything was and as fun as everything was and as unique and like once in a lifetime as everything was, there was nobody that I feel like would have enjoyed it more than DJM. Like, I enjoyed it a lot for the amount of effort and love that he has for pro wrestling. I feel like he would have enjoyed it more. And so we're talking about him like he's dead, but fucking, like dude, DJM's the best.
DJM, yeah, of course. But we do have a full, nice little. We are broed out here in the JuRYMania compound.
Yeah.
We spent a good weekend in spurts and sporadic moments, checking out a whole lot of indie wrestling, like we said before. It started out with Hoodslam, but let's save Hoodslam for when we were, so we can talk about it as a whole.
Yeah.
But it started with a great Hoodslam show. But beyond that, it started, let's say, Friday.
Yeah.
Friday. And it started with my buddy here, Rick Foster. Rick Foster, how you doing?
Doing all right. We're just coming out of WrestleMania, so
Yeah.
WrestleMania.
Yeah,
WrestleMania.
By the way, do you introduce me?
Oh, we have Justin Robert Young. It's the man that needs no introduction.
I mean, come on.
You're such a
I gotta get my shit in.
Gotta get your shit in, like
I'm
Brian
working.
Cage.
I'm working tweener. I'm working erratic tweener right now.
We have Justin Robert Young. We have Rick Foster, and we have just off frame Mitzula, the Mike Rula.
I come in later.
Yeah,
The Wizard of Odds.
Yes, the Wizard of
That's
Odds.
actually a trademark site. That's not mine.
Okay,
sorry.
all right. Let's not steal gimmicks. Let's not get
We'll
sued.
cut that out.
Feel like you're trying to scoop my heat, bro.
But yeah, Friday it was a interesting journey. So let's talk about our journey, Rick. Friday, we took public transportation all the way from the East Bay in Oakland, where we are at, all the way to the South Bay, Santa Clara Fairgrounds to be exact.
San Jose.
San Jose. We knew the way to San Jose thanks to Google Maps.
It's not hard.
Not hard. Just
It's
go
like
down.
the 101. I mean, like it's
Pretty
one
much,
road.
yeah. Just a couple of hours on public transit, and we arrived at the Santa Clara Fairgrounds to witness the WWNLive experience and to witness Evolve 40. Now, Rick, what did you have any expectations coming into this weekend and coming into Evolve?
I think I had some. I mean, it's a new product. I know it's like, to me, it's a new product. So I know of things of Evolve and the WWN stuff. I just don't. I was unfamiliar on like some of the wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I knew Drew Gallows, who is Drew McIntyre, Gargano, things like that. But
PJ Black, who was Justin
Gabriel. So obviously the WWE branded or Chikara branded people I was familiar with, but there was a lot of new faces and a lot of.
Where's Evolve based at?
I
want to say Philly.
Evolve,
no, Florida, because Shimmer's Florida.
Well, no, Shimmer.
Right?
No, Shimmer is in Illinois.
Okay.
Shine is Florida. Shimmer is at the in Berwyn, Illinois, specifically.
Okay.
That's where they do all their DVD tapings, aside from their excursions to like WrestleMania weekend and whatnot. But Shine is in Florida, and Evolve is wherever DGUSA is. So it's like, I'm going to say the Northeast, like Philly and stuff like that. The one that's in Florida of that family is Full Impact Pro.
Okay.
But yeah, we're obviously not going to go match by match on this whole weekend. No. But, all right, so you walk in the door.
I didn't remember it,
no. You walk into Evolve and you experience Evolve. What were your first impressions and what were your thoughts on Evolve 40 and the Evolve brand?
I think the Evolve brand is very is great. But they just had, I think, to me, and I think we've talked about this previously.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the whole making this a sport, should be on the bottom line of Sports Center recap stuff of wrestling. I'm more of the storyteller person.
It shouldn't be the whole show that is defined that way.
Yeah, and it wasn't. I mean, there's a lot of talent on there, but there was some good, there was some bad. It was more good, and it was indie wrestling as a whole is.
Well, you got to figure for those shows, for the performers.
Yeah.
It's not only just. I mean, it is far more than just a show, because this is how you get noticed and get booked at your next gig.
Yeah.
Right? Wherever you are on the ladder.
Yeah.
Like, it's at these shows
like PWG,
that everybody
maybe.
is watching, and that's where you get a call or an email,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, what would be some kind of the highlights for you of Evolve 40?
Highlights, just a lot of good. I've never seen so many high flyers in my life, and it absolutely amazing. The innovative, new stuff that's coming from the flippy dippy guys. And I don't use that term as a
pejorative.
Pejorative.
But I mean, that's what they are.
Yeah.
But I think a highlight for me was seeing Chris Hero in action and just being
able to say how much
he is not good.
We have our good thing we have Rick for that, because he's going to be our stand-in for DJM on the We Hate Chris Hero train.
Oh man, dumping on old Hero.
Yeah.
Huh? He is not his hero or DJM's hero.
Do you want to get into that right now?
Let's.
We'll save it for later.
Let's save it for the next. Let's save it for the next day, because we have somebody else who has opinions on that. And we had great moments. We had things like Uha Nation, who is a beast,
Nation.
who's on his way to Florida.
Yeah.
Like tomorrow. Like, he is on there. We had guys like Tommy End, who I've seen in ICW, who was out there impressing throughout the weekend. Chris Hero, who was in with, and I think it was a good match, and I think a big part of that, because Chris Hero doesn't suck. He's just really into his own shit, and he's a little too serious on himself. And then in this match, he had Biff Busick, who was fantastic.
Biff Busick is an unbelievable seller / emoter.
Yes,
it's unbelievable.
Like, his stuff as Biff Busick and his stuff as Frank O'Rourke was fantastic as well. And yeah, Biff Busick, I think, has always impressed me, but I love that he impressed you. Like, you were talking about how you hadn't seen it before, and you were just impressed by his physique and his style and just his emotions. But yeah, Evolve 40 was a cool kickoff for us. And then we finally we did another public transit run, I believe, and made our way back to
Redwood City.
Redwood City, to join you at Ring of Honor Super Card of Honor 9.
Yeah.
So that was the three of us. Now, Jury, what did you have any expectations on Ring of Honor?
I did. Well, because I'm familiar with it, and again, just to qualify for people who have listened to this show before, where I've been on it, I'm really only a year kind of back into wrestling, which is also to say kind of a year into following indie wrestling. And so just kind of understanding where Ring of Honor is, it's like, okay, so it's got a television deal, but it's not exactly a...
Yeah. It's not exactly national.
It's certainly not national. It's hard to follow for average people. They have a very decorated history of people that they have put through, including the new World Wrestling Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah.
But what I saw was kind of exactly what it contextualized Ring of Honor a lot for me, because the in-ring work was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
The fans were insane. It was a good crowd. But it's in an indoor soccer facility.
Yeah.
Like, and like the product, I love the product.
Yeah.
But like, and we'll get into Hoodslam. I can bring Ashley to Hoodslam.
Yeah.
Ashley loves Hoodslam. I couldn't bring her to Ring of Honor. Like, and not because it's not amazing. It is. And it's not like a gender thing, I don't think. Like, it's just that so much of what I loved was a lot of I've watched enough wrestling to appreciate this kind of stuff. Like, it was great spots. Like, spots where a fan base that really knows their shit can say, that's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard to do. That's tough. That's physically taxing.
And they paid off like a decade long storyline to kind of send off Jimmy Jacobs, and that was obviously if you're a Ring of Honor fan, you know the Jimmy Jacobs Lacey thing, and the Lacey coming out, and it was in fact,
and that's something that I had to get explained to me.
Yeah,
I didn't know that shit.
Yeah, and
like I didn't get the significance of them playing the song that he wrote for her and stuff like that.
9 years ago to the day, like he made that song or they released that song, and they had that moment, and and great moments about like Michael Elgin impressing well, even though he didn't have the mullet. I still miss the mullet. I understand that DJM is like, don't worry about him not having the mullet, but I still miss the mullet. Like it was just such a beautiful thing.
It's kind of crazy that he got the run that he got with their title though, like because he certainly body type wise does not. Like he almost feels like a Scott Norton kind of like body type, which you don't normally associate with like champions. Yeah,
but he is just a beast, for lack of a better word.
No, he was great, and he played the crowd really well. Everybody had great in-ring psychology, great in-ring crowd interaction. The work rate was insane. I mean, who's over is and here's the limitations of Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
You can see in Moose.
Okay. Yes.
Moose is a guy that is a fucking physical specimen.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He doesn't have the work rate of any other guys in the ring.
No.
Everybody else can do a million different things.
Yeah.
He will end up in WWE.
Yeah.
And he will be a champion.
Yeah.
And he might be a champion in Ring of Honor, right?
Yeah.
Like, but they would put him in positions where he can just be over. People want to connect with him.
Yeah.
He can just be over and connect. And in Ring of Honor, that's just not how their system works. No. Like, you need to be able to out-wrestle the guy across the ring from you to get over.
Yeah.
And it's because of that system that you get very unique people like the Briscoes and and we didn't get a chance to see Briscoe versus Samoa Joe, but it's like that's an amazing match with two very unique people that only unique with NXT you could see them being in the WWE system, but pre NXT you probably couldn't.
No.
They will always be in that position that they're at. Like and it's kind of what makes them great.
Yeah.
And it is like the restrictor cap on their ultimate success.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. Rick, what was your impression of Ring of Honor?
Oh, I loved it. I love Ring of Honor.
Nowadays, yeah.
Nowadays, I'm not a fan. I mean, I think we'll get into it later, but I'm not a fan of the handshake stuff. But I get that's what Ring of Honor is. The handshake before, handshake after, whatever. And
then and they can create moments of like that where they break away from the obvious, and they just have that as the default. But then that create moments after the match. But yeah.
But I mean, the wrestling all around was really amazing. For it's very obvious that this is their conversion show.
Yeah.
Trying to get people to be like, okay, we have a poop ton of wrestling fans in the area, and we're giving people a chance to look at our product.
Yeah.
There was, besides the Jimmy Jacobs thing, there wasn't any okay, you need to know this because this happened and this happened.
Everything was in the ring.
Yeah, everything. Yeah,
and,
everything.
And the only reason why that Jacobs thing happened was because
he was sending him off,
they were sending him off.
They had that one moment, and I think it was okay to have that one moment for the longtime fans, that especially for the ones that are going to be watching at home and things like that. To know that they had that moment for Jimmy,
Yeah, so overall the entire presentation was great. If you've ever watched a Ring of Honor show where people are just going batshit insane and they're banging the aluminum signs.
Yeah,
it's very surreal to be in that feel, in that moment or whatever. So I loved Ring of Honor. I really wish that we could have saw more. We made the judgment call.
We made the judgment call because we had Justin at last minute went ahead and kind of did the beautiful thing of acquiring us NXT tickets.
Yeah.
And we decided, just timing wise, that we kind of just ducked out before the penultimate match.
And it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's very. It's unfortunate for Ring of Honor because they had no. They had an idea, but 3 weeks prior, they were just like,
okay,
we're in the clear. We're going to be the showcase on Friday night. And then, 3 weeks ago, they're like, oh, yeah, by the way, we're going to do an NXT show.
At 10 o'clock. And not even at 8 o'clock where, it could be at the same time and you can decide one or the other.
Well, but, what would you have preferred? Because I feel like if NXT is going to do it, they're not going to go against the Hall of Fame on Saturday. No. They're not going to do it Thursday because more people are there on Friday than Thursday. So it's if you're going to do it Friday, then when else?
Exactly.
Yeah, and
they tried to stay away from Ring of Honor as much as you can. They're not going to start a match at 11.
No. Yeah.
No, they didn't so much stay away from Ring of Honor as much as they kept Ring of Honor away, but that's a whole other thing. But yeah, I could look at it another way.
My point is that, of course, what you want to do is read into, they wanted to kill their main event. Yeah.
Or at the same time, timing-wise, it could also, because of how they timed their show, they had their 3 big main events after 12. They could have timed it so that people could stay at Ring of Honor till the finish of the main event, and then go over there and catch the last hour of their event. The people that are going to Ring of Honor, assuming, all right, you guys will leave and come at midnight and, just before midnight and catch some really still great wrestling. So you could also paint that narrative another way, which is something that I was thinking, at NXT. I had wanted to paint the narrative of, the evil corporation wanting to kill the territories again. But at the same time, it's so easy to just flip that narrative and say, well, they actually kind of got out of the way. They didn't.
There's only so many hours in the day.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they have 2 of the 3 main nights already programmed.
Exactly.
With the Hall of Fame and
clockwork
and WrestleMania. Now, at the same time, I could see a world where the Hall of Fame could get moved to Friday.
Yeah.
And because I'll guarantee you this, next year in Dallas, Texas, the NXT show is going on at 8.
Yeah.
And they're not going to give a shit
who's doing anything.
Who's doing whatever. They sold out that show, and we'll get to the NXT thing, but it's them going at 10 to me was them saying, you want to know what? Let's at least give the idea that you're going to sell more tickets if we don't go head-to-head with ROH.
Yeah.
So theoretically, you can do both, which we did.
We did. And we kind of made our way frantically over, had to print our tickets at a
uselessly. We could have caught that fucking... Well, we could have got more of the Baron Corbin...
Because they were scanning. We probably could have just scanned our tickets, which would have been fun. But we walked in during that match, and we walked into the NXT, a sold-out event center at San Jose State University. For NXT, 5,000 people packed in.
5,200.
Yeah, 5,200. Yeah.
And
a lot of
It felt
people.
like 20,000.
Great arena. I mean, like
amazing.
for like it was just good, big, open.
It felt like everybody was there, like that was there that weekend. Like people that I know in like apart from this community, apart from that, somebody specifically, Kid Cadet, a former guest of the show, was there, and she said, she tweeted me. I was like, I think he just walked by me in NXT.
That's funny.
And then like I went over to say hi, but yeah, everybody was there, and it was an insane show.
Yeah.
It was an amazing show. I'm going to assume from top to bottom, though we didn't get to see the top, but from everything.
The top was Hideo Itami hitting the GTS on
Yes.
fucking Tyler Breeze.
And then,
Which we missed.
Which we missed.
But that's the thing. Is like I'm not upset about that. That's the crazy part. Like
You can only be so many places.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have wanted to not see what we saw of ROH, you know?
We saw a fantastic product there. And what we did see at NXT completely satisfied us,
Oh, God.
I would say.
No.
So, let's talk about some highlights at NXT. We got... I'm gonna talk about,
number one here. I
Yes.
mean, understand this. This place is fucking swinging from the rafters packed.
yes.
Right? Everyone's in their seats. Like, it's one of those shows where, like, it's people are locked in.
Yeah.
Because when we walked in, like, into the concourses, it's ghost town.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not like people billing around, a few people waiting for popcorn or whatever. It's like tumbleweeds.
Yeah.
Because everyone's in their fucking seats,
Yeah.
glued to the product. We finally make our way down, and I spent way too much money on these tickets, but it's all fucking worth it because we are floor.
Yeah.
And as we sit down, almost as if, and Rick Foster's the one who gets it, dude next to us fucking throws a little elbow in Rick Foster.
Hey, JR. Like, no introduction, nothing, hey, I'm this guy. Dude, JR is 5 rows ahead of us. And I'm like, what?
What?
Just the cowboy hat right there. And
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
Good old JR
Yeah.
is sitting there right up front, cowboy hat and all.
Yeah.
Certainly not becoming, inconspicuous, right?
Yeah.
Front row.
Yeah.
Looking great.
Yeah.
He bought a ticket. He can be there.
Yeah.
It's just, it felt like
It felt important.
it did.
It felt
That's
important.
a great word for it. It felt very important in that, not only because all this talent is super over and they're going to do big things, and it's like someone's over in ROH, right?
Yeah.
So like Red Dragon,
Yeah.
for example. Great tag team, super awesome.
Current champions,
Current
former
champions.
IWGP junior tag champions.
Just because it's a different federation, when you see somebody that's super over in ROH, you're like, oh, well, I wonder how they'll plug in.
Yeah.
I wonder if when WWE watches these guys,
Yeah.
if they're like, oh, they're really, really great, they can do something. In terms of like, because, and I don't say that to say that WWE is the end all be all, but like that's these guys as professionals look at WWE as the major leagues.
As a
Right.
as
Like, it's
one
where
of
you
the major
want to
ones.
go.
Yep.
Yeah. Other than Japan, as basically, yeah, that's where you. That's
Or
where you want to go.
English speaking
Yes,
wrestling
exactly.
talent.
Yeah.
It's it. I mean, it is the top of the top.
Yeah, you
So-
either want to be there or you make the decision to not want to be there and to be satisfied with going to Japan or creating a podcast brand.
exactly.
But ultimately, that involves deciding to abandon the idea of being in the
But with
WWE.
NXT, things are different because they already know the WWE style.
Yeah.
They already know they're working within a system, granted a different product, but you can see everybody kind of coming in. And so when you yell, especially because Triple H comes out halfway through the show
Right
Yeah.
after intermission.
and says, hey, Vince is watching.
Yes.
And just
like-
everybody is, oh.
And so now it felt communal.
Yeah.
It felt like, no, we need to cheer our hearts out for Charlotte and Sasha.
Yes.
Because the fate
We
of
need to change the
women's
system.
wrestling
We need
Yes.
to fucking change the
is
system.
in our
Yes.
hands. That's why it felt important.
Yeah.
Because like this was, again, this atmosphere was among the most unique I've ever felt in any situation, any kind of live event, because there was a sense of purpose to it.
Yeah. Like, it was a purpose. Like, the great highlights, like the Charlotte Sasha Banks match, which was fantastic as a match, but then was only augmented by the crowd and how engaged the crowd was. And God, my boys Enzo and Kaz, who DJM has pointed at as the example of the dynamic between me and DJM. Like, between me and DJM, we are Enzo and Kaz. Me being kind of the Enzo, DJM being Kaz.
Okay.
Of course, the funny thing is on Harajuku, Kaz is the Enzo and I'm the Kaz, which is hilarious. But yeah, they knew every word of Enzo's intro, of course, because
that roof exploded.
Yes.
Twice. I mean, for their entire shtick in the beginning. And then when they eliminated Vaudevillains.
Yeah.
And, it was a eliminator match.
Elimination, yeah.
For the tag titles.
But, like, they're so over, they don't need the straps.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think old Triple H said it best. Like, you don't need the titles to get over.
No.
The title doesn't make you make the title.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, and that's a philosophy. I think that works really well oftentimes. And then that was a fantastic show. We got great matches like Finn Balor showing.
Finn Balor, Adrian Neville, which again we've seen at this point on television 3 times. I've seen 2 NXT house shows, and one with Finn, and that was a 3-way with Finn, Tommy, and Neville. So I mean, I've seen that match, but for whatever reason,
it was just
something felt special. Mm-hmm. Something felt important. Something felt like, oh no, wait, like when the WWE does well, the industry does well, right? Like that's safe to say.
Yeah.
So if you look at it like, oh wait, this is a rocket booster that makes WWE all that much more important, then like it just portends very, very good things for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's huge. Because you want to know what? I would love if WrestleMania week was literally all week. And we got Ring of Honor shows on Wednesday. You know, and if it's like, if there are that many people that are there to see something, there will be. Yeah. Like, this rising tide lifts all boats. And that's what was great about, like, that NXT show. And let me just say this, just to touch on it again so we don't skip over it. Sasha and Charlotte were, like, and the reaction that people had to that match was, like,
mind-blowing.
Reputation-making, mind-changing kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you look at that match, and all of a sudden, everything, even kind of, like, offhanded, like, bathroom match, like, fucking the Divas are on. Like, that seems different after you watch them live in that arena, get that kind of pop, and realize, you're really they're only, like, a few, 15,000 off. If 5,000 people were marking out like they were in a crowd of 20,000 at an average WWE arena, they got a huge reaction. Yeah. They're fucking over. Yeah. With that amount of people. Now, WrestleMania weekend, a lot of people are in town. This is the best time to sell a ticket. But
they usually get a similar reaction among NXT
in smaller crowds. But it's like, oh wait, no. This means that like this translates. It's not like, yay, you did well. It's like, no, this is it. Go. It's here. It's where we're at that point now where they can just fucking burn it down. Yeah. And that's amazing.
Yeah. And all the credit in the world to Sarah Del Rey.
Yeah, that's why they pay her the big bucks.
That was another match we missed was the tag team Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks versus
Alexa Bliss and Bayley.
No, sorry, no, it was Bayley, the new chick. Girl. Bayley, Alexa Bliss, and Becky Lynch, and the new chick.
Dana Brooke,
Dana Brooke. And I was sad to miss Bayley because I love her. I love her.
Yeah.
I got myself an I'm a Hugger T-shirt amongst my many T-shirts that I got this weekend.
Now, before we move on, I know we kind of talked about this before. Is this developmental? I mean, Triple H.
He said developmental. My ass.
Yeah, NXT. Triple H. Of course,
I think
meerkatted half the thing.
I think Performance
between him
Center.
and his wife, yeah.
I think the Performance Center is developmental. NXT is a brand that showcases the top students, and the Performance Center is developmental.
Let me ask you these kind of big questions about NXT, and we can wrap it up and move on. But developmental is a pejorative for some people.
Yeah.
When you say, "Oh, they're in fucking developmental," I got sent back to developmental.
Yeah, developmental hell.
Like,
it's like
that is thought to be a negative thing. You are not good enough, and so you need to either pay your dues in developmental, or like you are being repackaged because your shit isn't right.
Yeah.
Like, so I think that's when he says developmental, my ass. That's what he is trying to shake.
It's still the place where people grow. It's still the place where people learn and grow and bloom, and get ready to be in the big leagues. It's not purgatory. It's not the purgatory. It's just a place where you can grow and kind of come into your own, develop who you are, and like I said, it's more Performance Center is a big part of that more than anything. And NXT is a great kind of brand to kind of okay.
So let me ask you the following questions.
Yeah.
In the landscape of indie wrestling,
Yes.
is NXT greater than, or less than, or equals to? I'll give you the cop out.
Yeah.
ROH.
Greater.
It's hard to argue greater. It's hard to argue against greater. Just on it. It's the same talent or better, and then with a better crew behind the scenes. Like, it's just mathematically.
And by the way,
better.
they have a TV deal.
Exactly.
ROH has a DVD. NXT does not. Right.
Yeah.
Right now, they are online only, so that is hard to do.
Yeah, it's hard to do that.
Greater than or less than NXT and TNA.
By far, NXT is greater than TNA.
I think
In the landscape
of wrestling.
Yes.
The quality is better, but I think they're still
because they have a better TV deal.
Cachet.
Than ROH.
TNA has a better cachet, and even as kind of people make fun of them and they kind of get pooped on. TNA still has a better cachet, and they've been surprisingly enough, they've been around longer than I think the WCW run. They kind of timed it. They've been around over a decade.
Yeah.
Now here's the reason why I say TNA is less than NXT,
because there is a correct answer.
Yeah.
And you might be the one to give the proof.
How do you exist for 10+ years and not
that's
make
true.
a move forward?
Yeah, that's true.
Let me ask you a question.
But supposedly the quality is getting better. It's just
that's
that
fine. If let's say Sami Zayn went to TNA under the promise that there would be a huge push for him, that would be shocking.
Yeah.
It would be counter to everything that we think.
Yeah.
Right? A mainstay of TNA just walked out the door.
Yeah. And is
going to NXT.
And
Samoa Joe. And that makes sense. When you hear that, you're not like, that's fucking crazy. It's kind of crazy that Samoa Joe would be fucking employed by the WWE after not being for so long.
Yeah.
But he's going to NXT. He's not going to WWE. Like, that to me says you can't see it going the other way. You can't see Sami Zayn going to TNA because they want to push him to the moon.
Yeah.
But you can see Samoa Joe coming in and playing a part because they're not going to give him the Kevin Owens push. They just gave Kevin Owens the Kevin Owens push.
So we'd have to see.
That would be my argument.
Yes. I think, all right, so that was NXT. It was a fantastic show. We enjoyed it thoroughly. Saturday, We kind of went to sleep, kind of pumped up, excited. Saturday, again, was just Rick Foster and myself.
Until
Afterwards. But first of all, Rick Foster and myself, once again, another harrowing journey in public transit. It was pretty easy. It was pretty straightforward. The Clipper card is wonderful. Gotta love the Clipper card. Let's put over the Clipper card.
Yes.
The Clipper card. We went and we caught once again at the Santa Clara Fairgrounds. At the what was the name of the hall? It was like something hall. God, I don't remember. Shimmer 71, the chick fight tournament. We kind of caught in a little bit into the night. We missed out, I think, because there was a whole tournament, so we missed out on like 4 matches, four first round matches, which probably went quick. But I have to ask you, Carl in the chat room, excited for the Clipper card shout out. What expectations did you have for Shimmer? Or you've been on the show and talked about Shimmer. Wait, am I remembering wrong? Have you been on the show to talk about Shimmer?
No, not at all.
Okay. What were your expectations coming into Shimmer?
Shimmer, I was kind of expecting awkwardness. A whole bunch of dudes watching, girls wrestle. To me is very awkward.
Yeah.
Especially, with wrestling fans over WrestleMania weekend or whatever.
Yeah.
It's to me, we're in an age where feminists and treating women equally is at an all-time high.
Yeah.
And it seemed like a zoo, like almost you're watching two tigers at a zoo thing.
Yeah.
And you're just watching women wrestle. But that being said, I had a great time and all that. But my fear kind of came true when there's the one asshole that's trying to be like, hey, how you doing, girl?
Yeah, catcalling.
Yeah.
But it was just one guy.
Yeah.
It was just one guy, but we ended up sitting right nearby him.
And you know what? And I told you, if we just sat somewhere else, I probably would have had a more enjoyable time. But that one thing, I'm just like, man, I fucking told you,
But and then we got to the show. What was your impression of the show, and what did you think of the in-ring product?
Show overall, it's clear who's experienced and who's not.
Yeah.
And there are some absolute standouts, like my new favorite women's wrestler, Nikki Storm.
Nikki Storm.
Oh my god.
From Glasgow,
oozes
Scotland. The white chocolate cheesecake of sports entertainment.
She's hilarious.
The best in the galaxy. From Glasgow, Scotland. Nikki Storm, who both DJM and I absolutely love. Nikki Storm. And what other highlights were there for you?
I think it was interesting for them to kind of go the tournament route.
Yeah.
Just because I know wrestling fans love tournaments.
Yes.
They
love cups.
They love
tournaments.
Tournaments and
cups with there's it has to be a big cup. Giant cups with lots of streamers hanging from it.
Mm-hmm.
Post-match photo shoots with the cup, and plaques.
Yeah, they absolutely love
Meltzer
it. Meltzer
loves that shit for sure.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I'm just reading now. Meltzer, and not to take the focus off the indies, says that WrestleMania 31 was one of the best shows he has ever seen.
Which says a lot.
That's hard to disagree.
It's hard to disagree.
It was the fucking Japanese drums.
Exactly. It tricked him into thinking it was the Tokyo Dome.
It was the Tokyo Dome.
Tricked him into thinking. Tricked Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns into thinking it was the Tokyo Dome because they went Antonio and Noki on each other. Antonio, Noki, Van Vader on each other. But that aside. All right. And then Shimmer was a fantastic show. We had our... I saw some of my favorite gals. Nikki Storm, Mia Yim, Kaylee Ray, who I got to get a point to from for kind of shouting out the Insane Championship Wrestling specific chant, the here we fucking go. And she was like, what? Who's doing our chant? It's like, yeah. no, they're fantastic.
Now,
Yes.
Let me ask you a question now. Going back to the tournament thing.
Yeah.
Do they normally do tournaments?
No, it was.
And is the reason why they did the tournament was because there's low indie women wrestlers that aren't signed by TNA or
maybe to kind of
ROH.
showcase them. It could be like a way to like get a lot of the gals into one space and showcase as many as possible in a short period of time. The tournament itself has like the King of the Indies, which we didn't get it to catch. I imagine it was a pretty cool show that they did the King of the Indies. It's a legacy name, the Chick Fight Tournament. So they're kind of like a callback to like the early days of WWNLive and some of the early promotions that maybe Gabe Sapolsky was involved in to kind of bring back old names to kind of have a throwback feel in some respects. But they don't usually do the tournaments. This was a special occasion. And I think it impressed me. I think it was a fun show. And then we got out of our show at the Santa Clara Fairgrounds, and we finally were joined in a hero fashion coming into San Jose. None other than the Vegas tour guide to everyone in chat room. None other than Mitzula, the Mike Rula, the old schooler.
It was the Fiesta Room.
The
Fiesta Hall.
Fiesta Hall.
I had to look back at my tweets.
At the Santa
I just
Clara.
got here. Where are you guys? Because all I see is a bunch of dudes in black T-shirts.
Yes.
Which I really can't say anything because I'm a dude with a beard and a black T-shirt.
Exactly. The Black T-shirt Brigade. Shout out to early 2000s indie wrestling.
I also did get profiled at the airport because
Yes.
I was a bearded man wearing a black T-shirt.
It's like, you here for Mania?
He's like, "Are you here for WrestleMania?" I'm like, "What makes you think?" Yeah, I'm here for WrestleMania. Still.
But you weren't technically here for Mania.
I was like, I'm here for other outlying events, but we'll
Yeah. But you joined us three, for kind of the WWN Super Show, Mercury Rising 2015, which is interesting enough, and we'll talk about that a little bit after. But what were your expectations just flying in from Vegas to Northern California to watch indie wrestling?
I didn't really know much going in. I haven't really followed a whole lot of indie stuff other than like what you've sent me for other shows.
Yeah.
Just because there's not a really huge indie scene in Vegas, and I don't really spend a lot of time online watching wrestling. So I knew you guys would probably pick some pretty good stuff to go to.
Yeah.
So I just kind of had my fingers crossed that it would be something good and hoped it wouldn't be terrible, and it was actually a pretty good first day of wrestling.
Yeah. So we started the Mercury Rising. What were your impressions? What did you think of the show?
The show reminded me a lot of my childhood. I grew up in Minnesota, in which like the old AWA grounds, and it reminded me very much of going to like the county fairgrounds in my hometown, or the Civic Arena, and watching them roll out a wrestling ring and having a house show.
Yeah.
For the old, like back in the late '80s, the old circuit shows where it would just be they'd come in for a day and swing through town and have a show, and there'd be 200 people there maybe, and it was a thing, and then they just pack up the show and move on to the next town, and there were some wrestlers that were way better than the others, but everybody they kind of did a pretty good job of matching everybody up, and they had pretty good story arcs. Because I came in not knowing any of the rivalries, any of the stories, and they made it really easy for you. You knew who the bad people were, you knew who the good people were. There was a nice split on a lot of the crowds because there was a lot of the fights where it was 50-50.
Yeah.
Which is cool to go because you get to pick a side. You're like, oh, I'll watch for a little bit and pick who I want to cheer for. And then like the heels were great. I don't remember who all technically was the opening heels, but they had the heel valet. She was amazing.
So Cal Val.
So Cal Val. Even though we were in NorCal.
And the crowd kept reminding her, "Hey, So Cal, we're in NorCal." So Cal Val.
Shut up.
Shut up. She was fantastic. So Cal Val is so hilarious, and she was just working the crowd from the ringside like a true manager. Like, let's not call her a valet. Let's just call her like a fantastic heel manager.
Yeah, I guess manager would be the title term. That's just me going back to any time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like
companion.
It's like actor, actress, manager, valet. Like you kind of automatically divide those gender lines. But she is a fantastic wrestling manager. She was hilarious, and of course, we got a little bit more of Nikki Storm.
A brief Nikki Storm appearance,
and then she gets the great like hero moment of like of kicking the heel's ass that kicked her out of the match, like, and then she gets the big pop, which is awesome because we love Nikki Storm.
Yeah, that was kind of actually fun because like she came out like right away, and you both were like, "Oh, this chick is awesome. She's great. You're gonna love this. This is awesome." And then, oh, she's not doing this fight.
So Cal Val brings out Andrea, who beats her up, kicks her out, and says, Nikki Storm is out of this match. Andrea is taking her place.
And it was like,
which was an amazing thing by So Cal Val.
Watching you and Rick react, it was like giving a kid a puppy, and then going, oh no, this isn't your puppy. I just wanted you to look at the puppy.
Yes.
I'm gonna go take it home with me now, and it's gonna be my puppy. Have a good day.
And then she gets the great moment. Let's talk about Chris Hero.
Oh, Chris Hero.
Chris Hero.
I'm going to have to side with the DJM school of thought on this one. I have never in my life seen a wrestler exhaust themselves during their walk up to the ring. He couldn't sell anything. He didn't sell anything. And I get that's that independent thing. You don't want to do all that.
He didn't sell anything but merch.
Yeah, he tried to sell.
He sold a lot of
merch.
merch.
Tried to sell was merch. And as I said when we were there, if I want to see a fat guy named Chris get really sweaty and lazy, I will just watch myself. I don't have to go see him do anything.
Yeah. Chris Hero. The thing is, Chris Hero has talent. He just knows it. And, like, that's the problem. Like, he knows it a little too well, and he thinks he has more talent than he does. And he has
less waistline than he does, too.
Oh, God. He really shouldn't be wearing trunks. Like, there's a reason Kevin Steen always wrestled in a t-shirt and shorts and, you know, kick pads and all that, because that defined his shape in a way that looked imposing, presentable and imposing. You don't have to be fucking Brian Cage, you know, with the big muscles, or Wuhan Nation. You don't have to be John Cena. You don't have to be bodybuilders. Oh, God, yeah. You don't have to be that, and you don't have to be, you know, slim. As long as you can go, like Kevin Steen can go, and you can define your shape and, you know, present it in a way that looks like you want it to come off, like a beast, you can do that. But, like, in the trunks with his muffin top and his cottage cheese size, it's comical.
Yeah.
It's comical, and you don't take him seriously. At least I don't. Of course, he has his fans. Like, it's one of those things where he's over.
It's
he's
one
hugely
of those,
popular.
It's one of those things, like,
because he brought the cravat over. Yeah. He does a cravat. It's like, oh, he does a cravat. Oh.
It's almost like a cult thing to like Chris Hero. It really is. I mean, just like CM Punk, it is a cult to like CM Punk.
Yeah.
Like, CM Punk is right. Everybody else is wrong. Chris Hero is right. Everybody else is wrong. WWE was wrong because they let him go, because they said that, you know, he needed to just lose a couple more pounds. And I saw him in NXT. I saw this Chris Hero that everybody, you know, raves about. I saw him in NXT doing really good. And then
he fell into his own thing.
He fell into, I don't need to, you know, do this because I've done this for
Chris
20
Hero,
years.
and
I've done this for 20 years.
Cody
so
Beware recorded my theme song for me twice.
And the problem with Chris Hero is that he has this character like problem.
Yeah.
If he's the knockout artist, why is he going for pins and doing rest holds?
Yeah.
I mean, it's in his fucking song that, you know, he's not going to go for the pin. He's
going to fuck a submission. Yeah.
Screw submissions. I'm going to knock you out. Why is he...
Yeah, because he's tired.
and
he gets winded walking up to the ring.
That's fine.
It's like...
Do the Brock Lesnar thing of just destroy for so many minutes and then have somebody, you know...
Yeah.
Have the other guy do a rest hold, because...
Yeah, there was a weird pairing in that match, because, like, the guy he was up against was a submissions MMA guy, but yet he was trying to do a technical wrestling match.
Timothy Thatcher, who impressed elsewhere, but it was just
a weird pairing, I think.
But Chris Hero is kind of into his own thing. Yeah, but overall,
I think the problem is that everybody. I'm basically quoting a Twitter guy, Doug Lackey, on WrestleView. He says the problem is that people have an injection of badassery.
Yeah,
and everybody wants to be this badass heel that can be bad but still sell all this fucking merch. And that's the problem with Chris Hero, is that he thinks that he's this badass, and it's clear that he's the heel. It's very clear to me, but when he's like getting this amazing chant of like, this is awesome, Chris Hero is,
before the match even gets going,
and he's obviously playing to the crowd like a face. He has a huge character problem. If he's gonna be the knockout artist, great.
Be the knockout. And he guy. Did he threw the bows. He threw the bows.
Night one, he was this knockout artist. He yes, he did all these rest holds. Yes, he got gassed, but he did his thing to
Biff Busick.
He was trying to knock him out.
Yeah,
and he couldn't knock him out. So at that point, yes, he went for the pin.
Because he wanted to win the match.
Because he was tired. But it's. I know he knows his character.
Yeah.
So just fucking do it all the time. That's all I ask. Be consistent.
But that would be I think that would be the only real low light of that show. That was a pretty fantastic show. It was conspicuous, and I had pointed to you guys. I don't know if you guys noticed, but it was kind of obvious that they were phasing out the Dragon Gate USA aspect of everything, because it was not built as a Dragon Gate USA show.
You can buy your Dragon Gate merch for only $10 at the booth.
Like every other merch was $20, but the Dragon Gate USA was $10.
You can buy your Dragon Gate shirt for just $10 at the booth.
Yeah, and
for just $10, you can get Dragon Gate merch right now at the booth.
Yes. And then
that Dragon Gate merch is still available for just $10.
For $10.
For $10, yes, you can own Dragon Gate merch.
They were on top of the fact that it wasn't billed as a Dragon Gate USA show. They were also merging the Evolve titles with the Dragon Gate USA title that they still have. The main title,
the Golden
belts
Gate,
they were having
of the Gate of the West Gate.
It opened the Freedom Gate.
Gate of the Freedom Gate.
Yeah,
Bill Gates Gate.
The Bill Gates Gate.
It seemed obvious, and it's like it was an interesting thing. They all of those things added up to the fact that it seems like things have fallen apart on that end. But
it was kind of one thing that I didn't realize in that show was. It's just the fact that it was like a hybrid, a couple different indie productions all together. But I was like, there was a point where I think everybody but one person had a belt.
It was the 6-man tag was on one side on the Rudo side, just to throw in a different term, was the Shimmer champion, and her regular tag team partner, who have been former tag champions. But there were two people that didn't have a belt: Portia Perez and Nikki Storm, and ultimately, Andrea also did not have a belt. Either way, two people on that side didn't have a belt, but she was a Shimmer champion. On the other side, you had Shine main champion, Mia Yim, teaming with the Kimber Bombs Shine tag team champions, Kimberly and Cherry Bomb. So, yeah, there was a lot of people with belts.
Yeah, it seemed like
two different companies.
There was the belt unification match.
Yeah.
And there were a couple others where it just seemed like, I'm like, dude, I'm not the other person here without a belt. I mean, the kids in the crowd had belts.
Yes.
I think I was the only guy without a belt in that place for a while.
But I think the Super Show aspect, I think that's what
that's kind of
that fed into
the angle they're going for. It was definitely they started with the 6-woman match. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be great. And it was a great match. It was really good. And then they had the title unification belt got moved down the card so he could fly to Scotland.
Yes, for Battlemania.
And I think that was the huge. I don't want to say problem, but it was a very weird.
It was a weird thing to happen.
To be like, hey, I'm
here's your main event now.
We're gonna have it
I got a flight. It's like I got a flight.
old
Screw
Phil
this.
Brooks, you know,
He
it
comes
would
out-
be shitting his pants.
He
You know,
comes
at
out
that.
for
He tries to sell the idea that I love this promotion. I love everything about it. I love all you fans. But I got to
Yeah,
flight.
he comes up. He comes up.
So
to
we're
cut a
doing this
promo.
now.
He comes
I
to cut a
can't
promo
wait
when
for.
you're like, oh great, it's a promo. This is gonna be awesome. And he's like, you fans are awesome. This is awesome. I would love to be the champion of both these things. Speaking of being the champion of both these things,
Yeah.
I got to be on a flight in 2.5 hours. So we're gonna have this match now.
Yes.
Hope
Which
you
was
guys don't
hilarious.
mind that the second fight of the night is the headline fight of the night.
Yes.
It was almost like one of those, like watching, like going to like Friday night fights, and the first fight runs 12 rounds.
Yeah.
So they have to cut the second and third so that they can show the main fight on the scheduled fight time.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay, the main fight's done. Stick around for these 2 fights you don't give a shit about.
Yes.
And they're going to be coming up, and they're not going to be on TV, so you can't wave to your mom, but watch them anyways.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God.
No, I mean, but that's kind of very much in the spirit of the weekend, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
That
it's
was the
tough.
thing, a lot
He
of these
did have
guys
to.
were on, a lot of these guys were on their 6th show in
Yes.
5 days.
Yeah, and it was fine. He did really have to make it to Scotland because they're having Barrowmania.
It was a great fucking match.
It was a great night. It was a great match. And the ultimately,
Lots of F-bombs.
yeah, I don't care. But it was a great match, and what ultimately ended up being the main event was main event quality. You would say that was believe it was a tag team contest. Ricochet and Hoo Ha Nation.
Damn, that was
Hoo-ha.
they were a great combo.
Oh
Both of
God,
those guys
the
are insane.
finish on that was fantastic. Which let's not though breaking the rules. Rick Foster went
Okay,
ahead.
so what's breaking the rules about it?
I don't know. They're just very.
I'm
they're-
not selling it. I'm not.
It's they're particular. It's the fact that piracy is still an issue.
And you know what? I understand, but I'm not.
You have a 5-second clip of a finisher that's now a 20-second. You have a 5-second clip of a finisher that's now a 20-second clip of a super awesome finisher.
Yeah, that you're gonna
in
help
slow
promote it.
motion.
Yeah,
If-
they
and-
just
and
and they
we're-
didn't really. They only bothered you that one time.
That's
Yeah.
because it was an extended phone recording. It wasn't the small little one. It was the extended phone recording that they got, not the small one. Like I tweeted or I Snapchatted a few things there, and they were fine with the short burst. It was when you tried to do if you tried to do a long hold that they would come and yell at you.
Yeah.
I guess that. Yeah.
But you got a great shot of the finisher, which is great, and they impressed, and they had the great moment with Generation Next, where they came out to their theme song and said, Austin Aries grabbed the mic, is like, because they had reunited after a long time, so they used their old music from like back in like the mid 2000s in Ring of Honor, and they got Austin Aries grabbed the mic, is like, man, I just realized how terrible our entrance music was. Thanks for reminding me of that.
That's awesome.
And it was a
So is WWN like that show? Who
WWN.
primarily writes that stuff?
I don't know. I think he runs it on the big level. I don't know the infrastructure of the place, but there is a bunch of people that work on like the people that grab the mic. Like it's WWNLive is basically like the network.
Okay.
And then all the different promotions feed into that.
Gotcha.
Theoretically, Dragon Gate USA, like obviously, like it seems like
Now-
that's going away, but like Evolve, Full Impact Pro, a bunch of other programs.
Now is primarily, obviously, this is the time of like, oh, wrestling is in
Yeah.
everybody's mind. Now we noticed a lot of heel turns.
Yeah.
Is that a primary thing that normally happens all the time, or is it just because like okay,
event.
we want to hook people?
It was a big I think it was the big event thing. It's just a
because I think there was, other than the championship unification belt, and the tag team at the end, there was one person turning or setting themselves apart from the rest of the group in every other fight on that ticket.
and even the championship unification match ended with a
with another
separate
guy coming
wrestler.
in, yeah.
The guy that Johnny Gargano vouched for, All Ego Ethan Page, who's fantastic in AIW, and I was glad to see him in a different show. Kind of showing up.
But I think I got enough independent heel turns
Yes.
to last me for another couple years in one show.
It was a
Yeah.
TNA show, of heel turns.
Of heel turns, but overall, it was a great show. Overall, it was a fantastic experience.
As I said, it was a fun experience for me because it was very much reminiscent of my childhood. There was a little kid behind me that was like, it was like looking in a time machine. He was sitting there with his dad right on the row. yelling and screaming at the right people, watching, having fun. Couple matches you got bored and played on the iPad, but I mean the kid it was like looking at me back in the message, remembering being a kid, going to those shows.
Yeah.
And even though I don't follow as much as I used to, it still instilled a love for wrestling.
When I was going at the end of the Shimmer show, and I'll wrap this up, and we'll go when we join Jury again. At the end of the Shimmer show, I was walking by the merch, and a little girl went up and bought a portrait, an 8x10 from Kaylee Ray, and got her autograph. And like that was really cool. Like it's part of that whole like inspiring little girls, little kids just of either gender, and take you back.
And that's what Shimmer should be, is be like, hey, little girls, like we can do this shit too.
Yeah.
It's there's that campaign of like we can do it.
Yeah.
That.
And I would say that Shimmer show, aside, again, we were set by the one creep. But aside, it was more akin, not quite the same loudness, but more akin to what we experienced with the Charlotte Sasha Banks match.
Now,
like,
I think maybe like Shimmer would benefit on the because Jakara has rules of hey, no swearing, no yes, it's wrestling, whatever, you can mark out whatever, but don't swear and don't be profane, whatever. No
holy poop.
Yeah.
No, they have holy poop.
I get it.
Yeah. So
and it's fun. Like it becomes its own fun thing.
I think Shimmer would benefit of that.
Yeah, that could be like no catcalling, no profanity, make it more family friendly.
Because,
I think they do that in the Eagles Club, in the Berwyn Eagles Club, but I have to look that up.
But could you imagine somebody getting the cat
then again,
call,
Jessica
and
Havoc doesn't keep
a guy doing it and just be like, all right, man, you're gone.
You're gone.
See you later.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Great for the environment. But yeah, that was the show, and then I thank you, Mitzula, because I commissioned our boy Mitzula to get a rental car because we had to make a nice drive up to Oakland again.
You didn't commission me. You had a sober valet that you exploited.
Yes.
Yes.
We made our way to Oakland because we wanted to make sure we caught Hoodslam again for me, but for the first time for you guys, and the umpteenth time for Jury. We joined Jury at the Oakland Metro.
Yep.
For Hoodslam. I'll let you introduce Hoodslam.
So I'm very glad that you guys got to see it. And also, like, it is what is unique to our WrestleMania weekend experience.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like there were a ton of people that probably got their honky ass up from San Jose to Oakland. No. It was a lot of like Oakland, like so Hoodslam basically they always go first Friday, and they did 3 shows over Mania weekend. I assume hoping to get more people
some
out.
overflow.
I don't think that. I mean that's a haul, and there's not really a lot of great public transit options.
Yeah, because we left right after the we
would have taken
the second that match ended.
It would have taken us on public transit again another 2.5 hours.
We got there right as the doors opened.
And there's plenty to do in San Jose.
Yeah, there's all that stuff around there.
And then there was another show that we didn't catch, the King of Indies Night 2.
And that was definitely something you could tell with the crowd that was at Hoodslam. It was not the.
It was Oakland people.
There were a few wrestling fans in there.
But they were
for the
just.
Most part, it wasn't a ton.
They might have just been Oakland wrestling fans.
The Fanny Pack shirt worked very well for the barometer of wrestling fans or just.
And Thursday rather, when we went the first time, was much more of like a wrestling crowd and a Hoodslam crowd. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, the Hall of Fame's a draw. You know,
I didn't realize it was that big of a thing.
Yeah, Joey Image side-eyed us for not catching the
for not going to the hall when I tweeted
like Hoodslam. Okay,
which, by the way, I can't watch Hoodslam on the network.
Yeah, and I can't
cry at Connor's thing as much as I want at home.
But here's what I was very excited about it is to have, because when I talk about how much I enjoy Hoodslam as somebody who is kind of into indie stuff, I think it comes off as like, hey, I like a thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to have people who are familiar with indie wrestling to come see it.
Yeah.
Because I think they get a lot of There's a lot. I mean, like the difference to me between Chikara and ROH are not all that big.
No.
You know, the difference between
other than
Evolve
the approach, but yeah, no.
or like, I mean, there are a million differences. I'm not saying they're the same product,
But yeah.
but the difference between ROH and PWG is not all that big.
No.
You know, they're very similar in terms of what you see.
Yeah.
Hoodslam is very different.
Yeah.
No one would confuse PWG for Hoodslam. No
No.
one would confuse ROH for Hoodslam. And what they get right are things that I think are very vital
Yeah.
to a wrestling fan experience. They're just not the same things that everybody else gets
Yes.
right. You know,
Yes.
it's presentational stuff. It's the experience. It's where they go with their humor. That is very different than a lot of other indie stuff. So I was excited to bring other people to just because also I don't know whether or not I'm just in cloud
Well,
nine
yeah,
and I
no.
like it. I obviously
You could be the guy that likes Chris Hero, you know.
well, and also I'm inclined to like it because I live right next to it. So
Yes.
it's like, you know, of course hey,
fun
guy,
thing
I
to-
found gold in my backyard. Isn't it
Yeah.
awesome?
Just
like,
to kind of throw in on how kind of cool Hoodslam is, Carl in the chat has a great question of, did the Invisible Guy win at Hoodslam? No, he did not win, but he did have an amazing
Great spot.
acrobatic feat.
great spot.
He had a
he was
huge
the valet.
run.
He was the valet for Evolution.
He had an amazing off the rafters,
He
off
did-
the other
he
rafters,
did
off the
compete
sign,
on
off
Thursday.
the rafters.
Great, yeah.
Took out 8 guys.
He did compete at Thursday. I don't
He
remember
did.
if he won.
No.
No.
I think he was
Charlie Chaplin.
Charlie
Charlie
Chaplin.
Chaplin.
Yeah, great spot. I feel like Seth Rollins probably took some
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 cues.
cues.
From
Yeah,
He
yeah.
felt that like Charlie Chaplin set that spot mark
Yeah.
really high for the weekend, so
Yeah.
he had to do something crazy in
And I
the
had
short
to-
match.
Yeah, I had to ask, what did you guys have any expectations coming into Hoodslam? Did you guys know what you were coming into?
I did, just because of, you know, their promotion videos are amazing.
Yeah.
If you ever just look up Hoodslam on Vimeo, and you will be in that atmosphere.
The host was recording video the entire time on his phone, which I'm sure was all.
Yeah.
Well, AJ Kirsch, who plays Broseph Joe Brody, follow him on social media, and you will get nothing but a double barrel Hoodslam barrage, especially when they're recording. But no, they have another dude that records stuff, and they usually do it in a very stylized, like, set to music that isn't wrestlers' music.
Yeah.
That's good, that's hip, and then they cut it in like slow motion.
Yeah.
To just kind of give you an evocative idea of
Yeah.
like what the show was, as opposed to just, you know, what everybody else
Very-
does, which
very-
is like lights on, hard camera,
Yeah.
you know,
Very-
show off what happened.
Yeah, something like akin to what we experienced previously on the show with freelance wrestling. The same thing, like the highlights in slow motion to music, which is, you know, fantastic production, fantastic, different from, you know, this is, you know, not caught in the trap of this is how you present wrestling. Like, no, that's not how it's a way to present wrestling.
Yeah.
But it's like anything, you define how you want to do things in a creative endeavor. So there are no rules. Like you get caught into these rules of this is how you do a wrestling show. This is how you do a presentation for a wrestling show. This is how you shoot a wrestling show. This is how you distribute a wrestling show. You do DVDs, and then you also do digital distribution. Just because you kind of have to. I'm like,
yeah.
See, and I think that's kind of one thing Hoodslam has is they kind of give that we don't fucking care attitude.
But they care.
They care, but they had
Very deeply,
they had cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
They had, and you could tell a lot of the guys were setting shit up for the cameras. They knew where the cameramen were at all times.
Yeah.
They knew where to take the dive. They knew where to go on the thing. They did a very good job of making sure that everything was pretty video ready.
And did it all high on weed.
There's a lot of
was-
weed smoking.
I tweeted during the show that I was fairly certain I was the only person that didn't have a vape pen full of mysterious oils that may or may not have
Blueberry.
been medicinal.
Yeah, no, it is a very a very Oakland production on
Yes.
a lot of levels. But I guess, I mean, that's the thing is, like, it is a show. And when I asked you after Thursday what you took away from it, a lot of what you said was, like, just the spectacle.
Punk rock spectacle.
Yeah.
Like the punk rock spectacle of the present, of the product, of the story, of the core of it. Presented really well, like, of people that are in creative, like, people that are in creative endeavors doing wrestling rather than wrestlers trying to do something creative.
It really, I mean, like, Hoodslam, and I don't mean to say this, anybody can take it however they want, especially on an indie wrestling podcast like this, but Hoodslam is, if indie wrestling as we know it is a pro wrestling reaction to sports entertainment.
Yeah.
Hoodslam is like indie sports entertainment.
Yes.
You know, like, it is very very focused on story, very focused on theme, always willing to go for the pop based on, like, previous IP and stuff like that.
Some amazing characters. Just, I mean,
Yeah.
even some original characters that were unbelievable. Some video game characters that were insane.
Yes.
And then some referential characters that were probably amongst some of the best friggin' characters I've seen.
So, I mean, just to give everybody a sense, they announced a USA versus Russia match.
It was like the third or fourth match.
Third or
it was
fourth
pretty
match.
early on the card, and
Yeah.
they announced, and everybody knows the WrestleMania UFC Russia match is coming up, and so they announced the Russian guy.
Oh, it's Zangief.
And
who
outcomes-
is a regular guy who's been at Hoodslam like forever.
Yeah. Well, actually, no, that was one of my favorite bits that they did on Thursday was they brought out
Zangief?
Zangief as escorted to the ring
By
by
player
two
to Zangief. Yeah.
So it was just like the different Russian outfit. And he goes against...
5 other guys in like a 6-way.
Oh, no. But no, the other night, Saturday, Zangief comes out, USA versus Russia match. All of a sudden, John Cena's theme hits.
Yes.
And
everybody's booing.
The entire play starts off with the John Cena sucks boo, which you expect even
John
in a
Cena
remote
sucks.
wrestling. And there were a few people that were kind of, yay, John Cena's music.
Yeah.
And out comes a gentleman who is wearing the You Can't See Me hat. He's got the wristbands. He's looking pretty Cena-esque.
Pretty hustle, loyalty,
Except
respect.
there's one slight difference. He may or may not be wearing a lobster costume.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he may or may not have gone by the name of Prawn Cena.
Prawn Cena.
Prawn, Seana.
Yeah.
Cena.
And not John Prawn.
Prawn Cena. It was very funny. And I guess that's the thing is I...
By the way, Aphex in the chat room, they didn't just call their Russians
He
on
is
Zangief.
No,
Zangief.
he was
Zangief.
He was Zangief from Street Fighter 2.
Yes.
There was also multiple other video game references in there too.
Yeah. And there was a Prawn Cena
we
thing.
did Scorpion versus
Scorpion
Sub-Zero.
versus Sub-Zero, which they could have... Part of me probably would have wanted just a straight...
Scorpion versus Sub-Zero.
Yeah, and they could have played up on like those characters and like the get over here, the freezing and thing like that. But it was still fun that they kind of added that other layer on top of it of like the. That's my dad.
When's the next Hoodslam? I want to rent a car and watch it. That would be this Friday.
This Friday,
It is
April
Entertainia 5. The biggest
Entertainment.
the biggest
3rd.
match.
Where's the cartridge?
Where's the yeah.
The cartridge. Oh, that's Wrestlemania.
Yeah, they're filling in 5 years of backlog pay-per-views this week, and they're having their big main super card
Their super card, yeah.
Yeah.
on Friday.
But yeah, they did like they played up Sub-Zero stealing who at the time was a Scorpion Undertaker or Scorpion
Undertaker.
Jesus.
He had amnesia, basically.
And he was at an identity crisis. He's been trying to
having
reinvent
identity
himself.
crisis.
He's been going through an identity crisis for
He's
months
reinvented-
now.
Much like if you were watching the other day where Goldust was having his identity issue, and he was the artist formerly known as Goldust.
Yeah. I didn't get to see that because I fell
you
asleep.
were asleep.
You fell asleep. No, we all heard.
The neighbors knew Petey was asleep.
Here's Petey's gimmick. When he sleeps, the world knows about
Yes,
it.
yes. I have a deviated septum. What can I say?
The
It's like I
second
was
tag
out.
team had not even made the ring, and Petey was already having his own lumberjack match.
Yes.
No, it was.
but-
But here's, I guess,
and then it was just a great
my question to you, and it wasn't a gigantic crowd. It was really fun to kind of just, I was kind of disappointed because normally the Hoodslam crowd is so
It's huge,
reactive, and this was not quite as
Not quite the same.
Not quite the same, even from Thursday.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we got kind of the bonuses of just being closer to
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah,
and
we were on the ring.
you had a great moment with Brian Kendrick.
Oh,
Yes.
I had no idea that the Brian Kendrick
But yeah,
yeah
was going to be in
was
the
a
house.
wrestler at Hoodslam, and then I was just, of course, when you're at Hoodslam, you kind of drink and take in the smoke, and
Yes.
I'm just like, oh, fuck you, Kendrick, whatever, and then he just takes my hat and he's just
Puts it on,
puts it on. He's parading around,
Well, he takes a bump, so he's fighting, and then on his way back into the ring,
He's fighting the hero of Hyrule.
he was fighting
Link,
Link,
yeah.
and he just fucking it was just perfect. He just flipped it right off his head, right into your face. And,
No, it wasn't like a flip to my face. It was like a fucking down, like a fucking back rake
Oh,
Yeah.
to my face.
perfect.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And then he went up onto the ring and took a bump from a stuffed horse.
Yes. He took a Hurricane Rana from
Yeah.
Butter.
Top turnbuckle.
From
From
Butternuts,
From
the
Butternuts
horse.
under the
the
disguise
wrestling game.
under the disguise as
Epona.
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 He
from, Legend of Zelda.
because Link had brought out the treasure chest. Link had brought out the treasure chest, got a ocarina, and summoned Epona by playing the Epona song, which I recognize thanks to Hey Ash, What You Playing? That taught me, gave me great onomatopoeias like Epona, here's your song, get the fuck right here. It's like,
That
but
was not the song I heard at all.
You
I
didn't-
heard a bunch of off-pitched notes that somehow magically became the Epona song.
I kind of I heard it. He more or less got it.
The PBR
right.
helps to-
The
for you to
PBR,
get
yeah,
it,
yeah.
like,
The PBR.
yeah.
Ah, that's it. I didn't have
Yeah.
the magical
You didn't
serum
have-
to help
no,
out.
you
The
didn't-
PBR
you didn't
and the
have
brosif, the brosif
brosif-
pouring whiskey
Jack
into
Daniels.
but yeah, Hoodslam was a fantastic show. Whoa. All right, so let's kind of wrap it up. What were your thoughts on Hoodslam overall?
Oh, an amazing product. It's absolutely fun. I've never had so much fun. If you would have, I've never had so much fun at a wrestling show.
Yeah.
In my life. But again, we had NXT, whatever. But
Yeah.
it's one of my top wrestling moments when
But it's one of those things where I think it was when I was on here the first time. It was DJM who said, Indy Wrestling is a buffet.
Yeah.
It is. There are so many different things, and if you don't like it, then you don't enjoy it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
There's just
Moves
plenty
on
of
the line and
different
pick
things.
something else.
And what I love the most about Hoodslam, beyond where they go with their product, is it is real.
It's
Is that it dares to kind of just do those different elements.
Yeah.
Like it takes what it can do, which is a good venue, good
Does.
lighting.
That's a perfect venue for that.
It is a rock club atmosphere, and understands what it can't do, which is have the same kind of work rate that a PWG has, or a Ring of Honor can has, or even Chikara.
and
and
understands why
I
it
mean-
doesn't need to.
Doesn't need to do
Yeah,
it.
it's not
Let's
like
just
the guys
put
were
on the best wrestling show
We can, and then let's have some fucking fun.
I mean, and the whole thing from the announcer to the referees, everything. Camera guys apparently get involved sometimes.
yeah, sometimes
It
though
was
not
just
this week.
everything was just. It was so much fun. It's. I don't even know. I don't even know what to describe it to compare it to, but it's like it's just an insane experience. It's something you have to attend. It's like, I guess the closest thing you can call it is it's like a punk rock wrestling show. Just that whole, the
punk
whole
rock
attitude
spectacle.
of it, the whole feel of it. Everything is just it's crazy, and it was really fun to watch. I mean, it was just I had followed Jury's tweets about it. I had seen some stuff online about it. I had read a couple articles and watched a few videos. But when you go there and you actually see it in person, and you see Drugs Bunny rip open a kilo and go, the entire ring is covered in powder, and he just goes bananas.
Yeah.
And you see, you see every freaking thing imaginable in there, and you're seeing You're seeing Winnie the Pooh come out with a honey pot that's a garbage
Pooh
can.
gas. But no, Pooh Jack.
Sorry,
I said Pooh gas. What?
Pooh Jack.
Pooh Jack.
I always want to call him Pooh Tang. Pooh Jack comes out
Where they leave
with a
the
honey.
fucking natural born killer
Well,
song on
and
the entire
yes,
match.
and Pooh. No, and
Yeah,
I don't
and
know
they
if you noticed. I don't know if you noticed. He was Pooh Jack teaming with Mustafa Saeed, the actual original gangster.
Yeah.
Other than New Jack, like he was. That was the guy.
Just seeing a full-grown man in a Winnie the Pooh suit, going full hardcore, no holds barred, kendo sticks and golf clubs to the head, was insane. And then there's a point when I watched him as it was when they put when he had the freaking nut shot with the garbage can.
Yes.
And like I just looked at his face and he's just sitting there and I'm like, you're doing this voluntarily, dude. This is freaking. But he looked like he looks like Bob from accounting, just in the face. But he just, I'm like, and you never know. I'm sure he's got
great
a
gimmick.
day job, something.
Yeah.
And he's just Bob from accounting on the weekdays, and then on once a week he throws on a Pooh costume and goes hardcore rules for a while.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
And I will say that I am pretty sure that Drugs Bunny is now my new favorite wrestler ever.
Yes.
Drugs Bunny can go.
That is
Yeah.
insane. Give me that guy is nonstop energy.
He's in great
high
shape.
flying and standing
Yeah.
in
He's
insane shape.
He
He's
just
in
came off
shape.
an injury too. The first couple of times
Yeah.
we saw him, he was
nursing.
involved,
hobbling.
but he wasn't able to wrestle.
Yeah.
And now he's gonna go for the golden gig
Yeah.
this Friday.
Yeah,
against
go. If you're in Oakland, go.
James
In a-
C.
James C.
In a card filled with really great characters.
Yeah.
It's hard to have somebody that stands out like that. And like the Hero of Hyrule and Drugs Bunny both just were
Yeah.
unbelievable characters with well-established stories and very solid wrestling to back them up.
Yeah. But yeah, Hoodslam, fantastic. Go check it out if you're in the Oakland area. But wrapping up the entire weekend, what was? And I'll start with this side. We'll work this way. Rick? What was your impression? What was your feeling about the weekend overall?
Outstanding wrestling and just a lot of fun. Even the stuff that I didn't like, I had a blast not liking it. I guess.
Hate watching.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a guy that like hate watches.
Yeah.
You know, I know a lot of people hate watch like Walking Dead, whatever. But I mean, that is the first time where I felt like, okay, I understand the hate watch type stuff.
Milking joy from the joyless, like. All right, I'm gonna enjoy something about this, even if the thing doesn't ring my bell. I'm gonna enjoy something about this.
Yeah, and the entire weekend was enjoyable, and I found something. I found something else. For everything, that every show that I went to, and it was. I absolutely recommend it.
So Mitzula, how was your Saturday?
My Saturday was great. My only regret really about the weekend was not being out here for the Friday Insanity. I would have loved to have seen the NXT, the Ring of Honor shows. So I mean, not that I'm a big fan of them, and not that I follow them very much, but just hearing you guys talk about the stuff,
You might end up being a fan,
that I missed some amazing stuff.
and you might have ended up
Yeah.
being a fan.
But I mean,
yeah.
I had a great time at the. But it was kind of nice the way I got to do the Saturday, starting off with the WWN show,
Yeah,
and then working into Hoodslam, which is they were pretty much polar opposites of each
Yeah.
other. You had the made for pay-per-view kind of, huge super card event, and then you had just the bananas Foster that was Hoodslam, which was amazing. And the only thing I kept thinking during Hoodslam was, how can this happen in Vegas?
Yes.
And I start thinking of venues. I'm like,
Yes.
this would go very well at the Double Down, but then they'd be messy, and I don't know if they'd like that. This
Yes.
could go here. Why isn't something like this in every major city?
yes,
Because it would be insane.
because they're not in every major city, and that's the tough part.
That's
The
true.
guys are in the Venn diagram. And Justin,
Yeah.
you didn't get to see all of it, and neither did Mitzula, but you got to see a nice cross section. You didn't get to see any of the WWNLive stuff that we saw, but you got a good collection of wrestling, something you're familiar with, some stuff that you hadn't been privy to. What was your impression of the weekend?
I love wrestling. I like it when, you have two men with personal issues settle it in the ring.
Not closed fists,
Not
going
closed
to time
fist.
limit draw.
I don't know why they don't book time limits. It was just really, it was so fun. I mean, like, my voice is shot. I've done, I guess at this point, 6 hours today, 7 hours today, live streaming, and today was the down day.
That's fine.
Yeah.
We'll be
Right?
quiet. We'll be quiet tomorrow. There's no yelling or anything going on.
Yeah, and my voice is blown the fuck out because I've got to yell at fucking grown men that they're pieces of shit, and they need to stop cheating and fucking start competing correctly. It's just so
yelling at a ref to stop blazing up in the middle of the match.
yeah, it's so fun. Like, I guess probably the biggest takeaway for me was, especially after watching Mania and having it be as good as it was, seeing NXT and seeing as good as that was, it just makes me feel so good about where everything is. It feels so good about where indie wrestling is, where the WWE is, where, like, now there seems to be a really awesome slipstream of, like, hey, if you are a guy who might make that jump, now's the time to make that jump, because of NXT. And so it makes me feel good for all the indie guys that want to be a part of the largest federation. It makes me feel good about the largest product. And, for all the bitching to the lead up of Mania.
Yeah.
And all the, like, even like we were saying before, like, they're like, oh, fucking WWE's trying to kill Ring of Honor's main event, and they want people to be walking out on Samoa Joe
and we talked about
Briscoe.
This. It's on Ring of Honor to try and convince people to stay.
That's fine, yeah. And, like,
and a lot of people did.
But for all of that, it's still just the most fun thing in the world to go see live wrestling, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's so fun. It's so great. And I just had an absolute blast. And it was so great that you guys were able to come out. And, now let's book our Dallas tickets.
Yeah. I'm going to be down there in Austin, Texas for South by Southwest next year because I've convinced myself I'm doing music again. But it's not that long. JuRYMania 2.
Yeah, let me say.
We'll come up with a subtitle later.
Yeah, let me, cut a Du Bois in the back promo now. Seriously, thank you for hosting us.
Yes.
And all that.
Here at the JuRYMania compound.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Ashley.
Yeah, see.
Yeah.
but yeah, that's my Du Bois in the back promo.
Yeah. This was a fantastic show overall, and we saw a bunch of great wrestling. We saw a bunch of stuff. I'm exhausted. Granted, I've been on vacation for a damn near 2 weeks, so doing a lot of stuff. But it was just a fantastic weekend, full of all kinds of wrestling, and I'm glad I made the trip. I'm so glad I made the trip. It was totally worth it. But yeah. That's our thoughts on the indie wrestling here at Wrestlemania. I think we all feel like indie wrestling is at a good place, possibly. At a great place. NXT, and I think.
Well, just the exposure, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, like, everything is just so much easier to get out there. Never has it been easier to get into indie wrestling. It was very easy for me to look up stuff that I wanted, like, even a guy like Uha Nation. Like, think about a time 10 years ago, if you wanted to know somebody like Uha Nation to going into developmental.
Yeah.
Nobody
you wouldn't unless you had
10 years ago you would be only like wrestling fans because it was like
you just trust Dave Meltzer.
Meltzer
would
exactly.
tell you
or you
that
just go to a
guy's
message
awesome.
board that sends you friggin' highlight videos.
Yeah, or you
actual tapes in the mail.
Yes. You circulate the tapes. Keep circulating the tapes. You trust the websites or the Wrestling Observer magazine or
exactly.
we
did see Meltzer. Meltzer was at ROH.
Yes.
I peed in the same urinal as Meltzer, and he gave it 4 out of 10.
Because it wasn't in the Tokyo Dome.
No,
it wasn't
if it was a Florida urinal in Tokyo, you would have got way more points.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah.
Gave my penis a 5 out of 5.
Yes.
Way to put over your penis.
Yes. Well, yeah.
Nice plug there.
Nice plug.
Although apparently it worked out really well for Seth Rollins.
Well, yeah.
Got a belt now.
Dude's
He's got a belt.
Dick
He
is
gets-
way over.
his-
Way over right now.
But that's it. We conclude our fantastic weekend of indie wrestling.
And remember, for just $10, you can get your own Golden Gate T-shirt right now.
Get the Dragon Gate
Dragon
merch.
Gate T-shirts, Dragon
Seriously,
Gate merch,
seriously,
$10
buy
a
that Dragon
table.
Gate merch. Seriously, buy that
You
Dragon
do
Gate
get a
merch.
merch discount if you bought a VIP ticket. You can use that VIP discount to get your shirt. It is only $10 at the
They
merch
gave a
table.
$10 merch credit. All the Dragon Gate stuff was $10.
That's great.
That is totally not a coincidence. We do not have a truckload of this shit we need to get rid of. Please come buy shirts.
Yes.
Just
All
$10.
right. Mitzula, what do you got going on the internet?
Just follow me on the Twitters at Mitzula. There may be some other things in the works, but that require me not being lazy, so just bank on Mitzula for now.
Yeah.
And maybe some other stuff eventually, but that's about it.
Rick Foster.
You
Foster
can-
on Sports, right?
Yeah, you can follow my snarky wrestling tweets at Foster on Sports. Also, my personal, Rick Foster. And I do a podcast called Lawyer Up Podcast with the great Jackie Hearn.
The incomparable, inimitable Jackie Hearn.
Yes, she's been on this before.
Dude, I got some episodes to catch up on.
Yes.
So we talk about Better Call Saul, and that's what I'm doing. LawyerUpPodcast.com or at Lawyer Up Podcast.
Yes.
Well thought of, sir. Yes.
Yes. Justin, what do
Yeah.
you got going on the internet?
Oh, a bunch of horse shit.
Yes.
Bunch of horse shit. I don't know, man.
Oh, wait, Justin, you do things on the internet?
Every once in a while.
Yeah. Over there somewhere.
Night Attack, Jury Show,
Yes.
JuRYMore. Let's talk about JuRYMore.
Let's talk
I'm
about
getting
JuRYMore.
married,
Yeah.
and my fiance is.
I think we're going to dump a couple more bottles of wine
Sitting on
down
the
there
floor.
and see if we get late night JuRYMore coming up. Yeah.
Yes.
And so we were doing a little couples podcast, and it's going pretty well. And we're going to talk about
Podcast, not the marriage.
the podcast is going well. The marriage has not yet happened.
Elope. There is an elope meter in Vegas. You just
Yes.
gotta,
There is the
it's like a giant thermometer at Baker. It's just like that. Only
Yes.
Much bigger and much cooler.
the elopometer.
The
Yes.
elopomer?
Oh man, we're getting
La
this is
Papa.
late. All right,
Okay.
so
Ooh, put the bop.
anyway,
the bop,
so Justin R. Young, follow Justin R. Young, and I'll tweet out a bunch of shit. Other than that, jurytalks.com, jurymore.com,
it's
and
not even.
nightattack.tv.
It's still March, Carl.
Diamondclub.tv. Oh, new Diamondclub.tv this week.
Tuesday,
Mhm.
right? Or Wednesday?
Yeah.
The first.
The first.
No joke. April 1st.
One. Of course, you can follow Fanny Pack at Fanny Pack WP on the Twitters. FannyPackWrestling.com. You can follow DJM at Just Call Me DJM. Let him know how much you missed him on this episode and how it was an empty episode without him. At Just Call Me DJM, like a Tribe Called Quest, you say the whole thing at Just Call Me DJM. Fanny Pack WP, FannyPackWrestling.com, YouTube.com/RebelliTV for this and other shows on like the video stuff. We're probably gonna. I promise I will do more video stuff in the future that isn't just the cursory video version of my podcast, but look out for that. Everybody's YouTube page.
That's rabelly.net.
RA Belly TV, according to Brian Ibbett.
RA
Healthy Addict on Twitter. Follow Healthy
thank
Addict
you,
on
Healthy
Twitter
Addict.
because Ashley
Thank
Firemore is
you,
the best.
Ashley.
She the best. Swag. And Healthy Addict on YouTube.
And yes, you can look at fuckyou.pizza
Mm-hmm.
for all of your important pizza-related needs.
But that's it. The QNRN music. Until next time, hasta los huevos.
Dragon Gate shirts, $10.
$10 Dragon Gate shirts. Get them now.
That's it.
R.I.P. Dean Ambrose.
Yes. Can we,
Where was
Pretty-
Sheamus?
3 more hours of something? Let's
Where
go.
was Sheamus?
All right, JuRYMore. Let's go JuRYMore.
JuRYMore live.
I've got water.
We can just do an audio only JuRYMore on the road.
All right, let me